like an extraordinary.
Okay, yeah, the Richard Carrier extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I got you. So let me ask you this.
Well, where is it?
What evidence
Where is it?
do you want for the resurrection?
Where is it?
Tell me what would help you. What's some evidence for the
Evidence
resurrection?
that the natural order has been disturbed.
Okay, is the claim to the resurrection...
Not just eyewitness testimony of people who actually believe that he was
right.
the Messiah already.
Does anyone think the claim to the resurrection is that Jesus was naturally raised from the dead? Does anyone think that's the claim?
But you would be able to see that the natural order was disturbed.
Yeah, the claim is not Jesus was naturally raised from the dead.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said he was... It's a disturbance in the natural order.
Okay.
You'd be able to see that. Unfortunately, I see no reason to believe that.
Let me ask you this then. If Jesus did not raise from the dead, then how come every example of the earliest preaching we have of any Christian message always centers around Jesus being raised from the dead, and it took place within Jerusalem?
Mithra had the same thing.
Oh, tell me about Mithra's resurrection. Mithra had a resurrection? Tell me about it.
Horus had a resurrection.
Tell me about Horus's. Could you tell me about Horus's resurrection, please?
Yes, Horus was resurrected by his father, supposedly.
Actually, you're wrong. Isis pieced him back together.
No, technically that's Osiris, and it depends on what you're going.
Yeah, you know why? Because there's varying legends of all these things.
There's varying legends of
None of
Jesus.
them
Why
match.
the hell would you believe in the four Gospels?
Because those legends have nothing to do.
300 years ago, a bunch of men got together and figured out which ones were correct, right?
300 years ago?
Excuse me, 300 C, which is 1700 years ago, and 300 AD, that somebody supposedly...
Have you ever heard of the Muratorian canon? Have you ever heard of the Muratorian canon?
I'm sorry?
A canonical list dating from 160. Have you ever heard about that?
No, I haven't.
It's a list of books that belong in the Bible from 160, and it almost matches identically to the current 27 we have. 160 is somewhat before 325.
The other Gospels, too.
Yeah.
Explain to me the other Gospels.
Some of the Gospels were on the list. What I'm saying is, you're saying that we decided what books go in the Bible in 300, which is a false claim.
New Testament.
No, that's what I'm saying. Your claim is wrong. It was long before that.
That's not true at all. That was what one sect said, and there were still other people who disagreed with that, and then we're called heretics at councils.
So, do you think for a gospel to be a candidate to be inclusion in the canon, that
I don't think
it would
it's true to begin with at all? So
okay, well then
it's pointless.
You're right. It is pointless for you to make that point. But here's what it would have to do: it would have to be within the lifetime of the witnesses. And can you name me any gospel that's in the Bible that was within the lifetime of the witnesses? Maybe just.
Top of my head, but
well, there are none.
Find me that John, for instance, the Gospel of John was actually within the lifetime of Jesus.
Do you know what the earliest manuscript of the New Testament we have extant today is? No, that's the first gospel written. You're confusing the question. What I'm saying is the earliest manuscript fragment we have it's called Papyrus 52, and it dates from 125. And ironically, it's John 18. Which is, you asked, how do we know John was written? And we found it in Egypt. It's housed right now in the John Ryland area in England. So the thing is this, if we have a piece of John from 125 in Egypt, was John written before 125? If we have a fragment of John, a copy of John from 125, then John was written before the copy.
Yes, but when?
Well, within the lifetime of the witnesses was the point, because you just said John was not written. So if it was 125's earliest, so you're telling me there could be a book written after the earliest copy that we have of it?
I'm saying that John was not a witness. It's possible. It's possible, isn't it? It's very possible.
It's possible. Can you tell me something in the Gospel of John that would lead you to believe that he was not a witness?
I don't even think any of it is true.
No, but you made a claim. That's cool. You don't have to think it's true.
I'm making a medical. I don't believe any of it is true.
So, but you're just saying stuff without evidence then?
Not necessarily.
Well, necessarily. If you're saying that John is not an eyewitness and then you have no reason to say that.
There's no reason to believe he was a witness, is what I said.
Actually, there are reasons, and the reasons would be that he has insider information that would be known by a local in Palestine or Judea during the first century.
It's not possible they can be, done by oral tradition. It's not possible at all.
Of course, oral tradition played a role in the gospel. No one's saying it's not. But can you name any other author that the church ever said, maybe this guy wrote John, maybe a different author that they thought was a candidate?
No, but the church
Exactly.
wasn't used automatically. I don't.
John is the only one we ever put up for the candidate currently attached to his name. If we don't know who wrote it, why not a competing tradition?
And people don't necessarily think that John was an eyewitness. There's other historians that would say he's not an eyewitness.
Let me ask you this: do Christians have a problem with someone being able to document some per eyewitnesses, but maybe not necessarily being an eyewitness? Do we have a problem with that? Matthew and John are the only two gospels that claim to be direct eyewitnesses. So my point is, we don't have to say, Mark, we never claimed to be an eyewitness. You see what I'm saying? Luke, we never claimed to be an eyewitness. So we're not scared about having a gospel by someone who's not an eyewitness. The point is, were they in a position, how do I know what's true?
How do you know that their testimony is true?
Let me ask you this, if the gospels are totally fallacious, how do you explain Christianity ever getting off the ground? Why did it even begin?
Mormonism.
Can you, so you're telling me because Mormonism started in the 1800s, that's how Christianity got off the ground in the 100s?
It's a similar idea, yes, actually. Most religions grow and develop in the same
Similar
way.
idea. Have you read the Book of Mormon?
Yes, I have. If I remember correctly, there are 9 signatures at the beginning.
What time period does it deal with in there?
That deals with varying time periods. Depends on what you mean by what.
So what time period is Joseph Smith referring to?
I think it's primarily referring to the 1800s, right?
Yeah, like the 600s. Let me ask you this, was Joseph Smith alive in the 600s?
Oh, you misunderstand. Joseph
No,
Smith...
what I'm saying is you're drawing a false analogy.
No, I'm not, because Joseph Smith claimed to have had revelation from God.
Did he claim to be there? In
Joseph
the 600s?
Smith claims to on records.
Yes, true.
And you misunderstand. There are records indicating in the Book of Mormon that Josephus performed miracles. And that people witnessed said miracles.
Well,
you have people who say they certify that
Yeah.
the Book of Mormon is correct and legitimate. That's all I'm saying. Is
You don't claim anyone. No one claims to have been there, though, and that's why you have a false analogy. With
Actually,
the
yes, there does, because you see in the original documents that Joseph Smith quotes, that person was supposedly there. So yes, you do.
Do you mean the apparition, the deceased angel?
No,
guy?
I'm talking about the tablets he supposedly found. According to those tablets, they spoke of the time of about 6.
Let me ask you this: does that have a chance of being true?
It has at least a chance as yours
Really?
does.
So
Yes.
it's possible that Native Americans wrote in Reformed Egyptian on gold tablets with the language? That's possible?
Is it possible somebody walked on water? Is it possible that somebody turned water into wine?
Number one, you didn't answer the question. Number two,
Well, yes, I
it's not
did.
possible.
I'm answering the question by saying it's as possible as it is yours. It is as possible and as likely as it is your religion.
That's what I'm saying. That's where our difference is it's impossible for that set of things to happen.
I see. It's
But-
impossible for Native Americans to write ancient Egyptian, but it's not possible for somebody to walk on water.
Let me ask you this, if there is a God, I'm not saying you believe there is, then is a miracle claim ludicrous? Because once you got
No, it is
God,
not.
you've got to have miracles.
In of itself, it is not. However,
Right.
there's evidence to prove that that miracle did in fact
That's what I'm
transpire.
saying. No one is claiming Jesus naturally walked on water. The claim is Jesus supernaturally walked on water,
And that's the point.
exhibiting his divine power. Here's the real question. Did the resurrection happen? That's the real question. If this happened, every other claim is backed up.
Do you concede my point then, that the same events were miracle acts? And I don't think the tablets were in Egyptian. I think it was Josephus read a scroll which suggested where they were. The original tablets...
He said they were a reformed Egyptian. That was the claim he made. And they were on gold.
I'm trying to remember. But anyway, more to the point.
No Native Americans that we know of had a written language before we got here, so that'd be one problem.
Whoa, no, that's not true. Apaches had a written language.
Well, wasn't
I actually have
Egyptian.
No, it wasn't, but that doesn't change the fact that
Right.
God could still miraculously done that. It doesn't change the fact that these could be very well miracles to the same degree that you're talking about. It's much more likely that they would suddenly have a grasp of Egyptian. That seems a lot more likely than somebody literally defying the laws of physics.
No, it doesn't, because there's actually...
That could at the very least just be telepathy, but even that I don't believe in.
All right. Here's the real question. Why did Christianity ever get off the ground? That's what I'm saying. If you believe Jesus was a fraud, like all the other false
Well, I don't
messiahs...
believe he was a fraud. I believe that people added more to him than what was there.
Okay, that's respectable. I understand where you're coming from, but the question is, why did people putting layers of tradition upon this guy, why did that make this church boom fairly rapidly within the time frame of when he said he lived?
Because people wanted to believe.
Did Did people want to believe Mithras, the cult of Mithras?
Some did, yes.
Where are those people today?
They died out because other cults overrode it, because other cults became more powerful and stronger.
Why did Mithras have no sustainability in your view?
A combination of reasons. There's not one. You have the fact that, one, you have a large rise of Christianity. People quickly become Christians. Due to the nature of Christianity, it pushes out the other religions.
You're right. Why did Christianity, why was it so robust enough to push out the other religions, who most of us here have never heard of? Only Christianity survived, and you gotta ask yourself, why?
Because of the nature of Christianity. Christianity